is rapper and activist Killer Mike, who told us in the commercial break we should call him Michael on TV because his mom would appreciate it. And Michael, we are so happy to have you. And may I just say that your words to Atlanta last week were moving and real and honest, and people were listening. And we just appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, Michael.
I'm honored to be here.
Since Michael says mama said call you by your government name, I'm going to call you by your government name, Michael. But you know how we do it when you and I talk personally.
It's Killer and Shay.
Mike, you got the pulse of Atlanta. You know everything that's going on in Atlanta, good, bad, and indifferent. Tell me what the pulse is in Atlanta right now dealing with these protests and the killing of George Floyd.
First, I want to give some shots out to some organizations that are doing great work. One of them is Paul Kids. They're making sure kids stay fed and families have stuff like food, clothing, and shelter. Next Level Boys Academy, led by Gary Davis, that's making sure young black men avoid jail time, become better communicators with their families. And the New Georgia Project, who's making sure that the people that are out there protesting to the people who are in the Vidalia onion fields are making sure they're getting registered to vote. So after the protest, after the rioting, well-deserved too, after that these kids go on to become organizers and these young people galvanize at the elections and past the election. So that's what's going on. I want to just say from a street perspective, man, I've been seeing everybody from the brothers that hang into the Blue Flame to the people who watch the Georgia Gang on Sunday's political shows galvanizing together, making sure that people have their rights and are protected from harms and injustice.
When I talked to you, I called you the other day when the riots and the protest, rebellion, whatever you want to call them, Mike, broke out. I called you and asked you how you're doing. Tell the people at home what you told me when I asked you how were you.
I was sick. I was beat up. I was defeated. I was scared for y'all. I rioted in '92, so I understand and I hold no criticism of. I just know that if you're from Georgia, like Shannon and I, you know that Atlanta, places like Atlanta and Savannah and even Macon can be places where blacks can actually have opportunity. And to see that the possibility that that might disappear, whereas we on the ground, people like me, Tip, or brothers even, like if you turn to younger brothers like Lil Baby and Thug them and investing in their communities, if we don't have the opportunity to do that and we lose Atlanta, I fear Black America has lost like one of its last strongholds. So I was defeated, man, but I got a lot of good encouragement from you and others, and I appreciate it. I didn't want to get on the podium and talk, had nothing in my positive in my mind to say. So like the old people say, I just spoke my heart, and I'm glad it resonated with people, because I think we have an opportunity in Atlanta and in Georgia to redefine race relations, to redefine what's economically fair and right, and to redefine political affiliations and what they mean and how they can be helpful to people. And we have an opportunity to unite as a worker class and make sure that our kids can grow into a middle class and also grow wealth for our families and for our community. And I think if we lose sight of that and we lose that opportunity, we've lost it all.
So, Michael, I read that your father was a policeman. Did that have any impact on you at all as a kid?
Yeah. When I was in elementary school, your dad's a policeman, your dad's your hero. I have a very brave cousin who was a high school quarterback who probably would have went on to play D1. He's tore his shoulder up, trained himself with a hurt shoulder to become a kicker, went to West Georgia, came out, and is on the SWAT team in Atlanta now. I have another cousin that's a commander down in East Point. So I'm from a historical standpoint, let me qualify. There once was a time where Black people were not policed by Black people in Atlanta. They were hurt, they were murdered, the police stood aside as riots happened. We got an original 8 policemen about 67 years ago. Those 8 policemen were not allowed to be armed. They were forced to dress in the YMCA because people did not want to dress with Black people. So we suffered a lot to have some ownership of our community. We suffered a lot to be policed by people who look like us. You know, we suffered. So I respect respectful officers like Detective Williams, the late great. I respect respectful officers like one of the highest ranking officers. I believe he was a Major Ball, who lived in my community. I respect it because I understood how hard it is to be a policeman and represent government and still maintain your integrity as a Black man. So I honored that. You know, so my dad and my cousins, I honored that. I could never do the job, but I'm not gonna talk down on good men. But I am gonna single out bad behavior is bad behavior. Rotten apples ruin whole barrels, and it is time to cut out the cancer that is Jeff Sessions called white Anglo-Saxon Protestant history. If that is the way policing is thought of in this country, then I remind everybody that policing began with slave catching.
So the George Floyd protest, are you surprised that the volume and what we're seeing? Because I remember in 92, I was in Savannah at the time, but I remember it didn't last as long as what we're seeing right now, Mike. This has gone on for 10, 11 days. And although it's more peaceful, the size have grown and the volatility at night has simmered down.
I heard a wise man say, his name was Skip Bayless. And Skip, when talking about the kneeling of Colin Kaepernick, said that white players were missing an opportunity to stand in solidarity with Colin and break the leverage that the NFL has over all players. But instead of seeing this as a solidarity issue and a players issue, they were viewing it as a nationalistic issue, as a racial issue, and that solidarity